children, wishing you a fantastic day. Hope you listen, you watch the video carefully and listen to all explanation and answer the question asked in between the videos. Now, let us get into the third part of the lesson, Consumerist Culture, authored by Cherian Alexander. Points to remember. The writer calls the advertisement as the machinery of persuasion. An advertisement tries to generate demand for a whole lot of consumables. In the writer's opinion, shopping has become more than a need. Benjamin Barber has written that the global advertising expenditure rose sevenfold from 1950 to 1990, from a modest $39 billion to $256 billion per annum. Synonyms: premised upon, based on the reasoning. Inexorable, impossible to stop or prevent. Impoverishment, scarcity. Antonyms: capable, incapable. Public, private. Expensive, inexpensive. Prosperity, poverty, penury. So in last class we saw that very fashionable shopping centers had come up where we get all kinds of goods under one roof. Let's continue the lesson now. Here. Point 5. The key word now is choice. At last, say thrilled shoppers, we are beginning to get the kind of choice that people in the West have enjoyed for a long time. So here in these shopping centers, the key word is choice. In these shopping centers, the shoppers are thrilled and excited to see a wide range of choice in each and every stuff, whatever it may be, groceries or provisions at different attractive rates, cheap and expensive. We get a wide range of food items, cosmetics, fashion wear, etc. The present day Indian shoppers have the access to the kind of choice that people in the West have been enjoying for a long time. Now questions. What is the key word in shopping centers? The key word in shopping centers is choice. What thrills the present day Indian shoppers? The present day Indian shoppers have the access to the kind of choice that people in the West have been enjoying for a long time. Nevertheless, the fascination with choice can be carried to ridiculous lengths. Explanation. But the interest and great charm with choice in West can be carried on to ridiculous lengths. Like in Western countries, one can marry even more than one, whereas the Indian culture is not so. In foreign countries, it is not illegal. Marrying two, three is not illegal, but our Indian culture is not so. A young man, after his first visit to the United States, once described to me his eyes popping out in admiration and wonder that in America they have 83 different flavors of ice cream to choose from. He was longing for something like that to happen in India. It looks as if his dream has come true today. Explanation. A young man, after his first visit to the United States, the US returned, described with his eyes popping out, with his eyes wide open in admiration and wonder, that in America they had 83 different flavors of ice cream to choose from. He wanted the same thing to happen in India, and it seemed that his dream has come true today because all such consumables are available in our country, India, today. What was the dream come true for the US returned Indian? The US returned Indian, with admiration and wonder, described that in America they had 83 different flavors of ice cream to choose. He wanted the same thing in India, and it seems that his dream has come true today because all such consumables are available in our country. At least for the upper class in India, the high consumption lifestyles of their first world counterparts is now well within reach. Explanation. First world counterparts refers to the wealthy countries, the economically developed countries. The upper middle class people in India who longs to lead a high consumption lifestyle of life. For them, now such kind of a hi-fi lifestyle is within reach. And they take to it like ducks to water. They refers to the upper middle class people in India. It refers to the high consumption lifestyles of the West. The transition is that the change from one state to another has been smooth and natural. The Indians, like their counterparts in the Western world, are leading high consumption lifestyles today. The transition, that is, the change from one state to another, has been smooth and natural. The upper middle class people who urges to lead a life equal or similar to the lifestyle of the West, when the door is open for them, they smoothly and very gradually move for a natural change. The movement of the upper middle class people to the lifestyles of the West is compared to that of a duck. When a duck sees the water, how very smoothly and gradually it moves towards it. Likewise, the upper middle class people too, they have a sincere and earnest longing to lead a high-fi lifestyle. They move towards it very smoothly and naturally. They feel excited that all the pleasures that the people of Western countries are now at their reach. A question now. What does like ducks to water mean? The Indians, like their counterparts in the Western world, are leading high consumption lifestyles today. The transition has been smooth and natural. Luxury houses bursting at the seams with every blessing, imaginable material blessing are no longer rarities. For everyone whose definitions of the good life are premised upon the abundance of material possessions, the times have never been better. Bursting means filled, packed, or overflowing with seams, joined, premised upon, meaning based on the reasoning. Explanation. Now in India, nothing is impossible. Nothing is a rare thing. Luxury houses are filled with even all rare things. They furnish their houses with whatever they imagine to decorate with. It's a blessing for the upper middle class people. They are blessed with all imaginable material things what they have earned for. For people who define life, as a good one, based on all the based on all reason that who owns all material possession in plenty lead a good life, then for sure life has never failed them. It has become better for them because they have got everything in plenty as they wished. A question from this point. What is no longer a rarity today? Luxury houses bursting at the seams with every imaginable material wealth is no longer a rarity. The tragic comedy of development. The deep irony, then, is that while pockets of private prosperity are growing, there is an inexorable impoverishment of the resources that belong to the public realm. Inexorable, impossible to stop or prevent. Impoverishment, scarcity. The deep irony of life is while the private, affluent, wealthy people, rich people are becoming richer and richer, that is, the wealthy people's pocket are filled and they prosper in life, there is an unstoppable and unpreventable scarcity of resources that belongs to the public sphere. The resources are the public property. There is a scarcity to the resources that belong to the public. A question from this point. What is the deep irony that the writer speaks about? The deep irony that the writer speaks about is while the pockets of the private prosperity are growing, there is growing scarcity of the resources that belongs to the public sphere. There is thus an amazing variety of sleek new car models to choose from, but the roads in our cities are in pretty bad shape and getting worse. We can see a great variety of very impressive and excellent, smooth and shiny new models of cars from which we can choose. But our city roads are in quite a bad shape and worse condition. So the rich are able to buy new model sleek cars, but which the roads which belongs to the public are in very bad condition and getting worse day by day. Fashionable luxury resorts for the affluent are coming up everywhere, but lung spaces for the public use parks and playgrounds are shrinking. Next, he cites another example. Many fashionable and luxury resorts are coming up everywhere. Such resorts are purely meant for the affluent, that is wealthy people. Only they can afford to spend lavishly there. The rich, they go to enjoy their weekends with your family. For one small sector of people, for the wealthy, such big resorts are coming up everywhere, covering up many acres of land with all facilities inside. But for the rest of the people, a small space of land is provided. For the common man, for his playground and a park, a very small space of land is provided. So the space for the public sector is becoming smaller and smaller. The area is reduced for the public sector, for the public parks and playgrounds. So on the whole, fashionable luxury resorts for the wealthy are coming up everywhere, whereas very small spaces for public use like parks and playgrounds are shrinking, means becoming smaller and smaller. Substantiate the deep irony that there is scarcity of resources that belongs to the public sphere. Answer: luxury resorts for the wealthy are coming up everywhere, whereas very small spaces for public use like parks and playgrounds are shrinking. It is much the same story with many other services in the public domain, including transportation, healthcare, libraries, and education. The same story happens in many other services which belongs to the public sphere. It's being controlled by a private sector, for example, transportation, healthcare, hospitals, libraries, and education. Government buses are not much comfortable, so we prefer to travel in private buses. Maybe due to bed bugs, seats not comfortable for a long travel, and so on. Next, government hospitals are not well equipped, so we go to private hospitals. In government schools, in spite of very well trained and the best facilitators are there, but not much facilities provided for both teachers and students. So many students go to private schools. The trend is to push even the most essential services into the private realm so that some company or other can make a profit on them. At present, it's that to push even the most essential important services into the private sphere. The services that should be rendered to the public by the government is handed over to the private concern, so that one particular sector, that is the wealthy people, take over everything and make a big profit on them. The public has become silent victims in the hands of the affluent. In the process, the poor are being pushed into becoming consumers of increasingly expensive goods and utilities. In this process, the poor people are becoming affected and persuaded to become passive consumers of the increasingly expensive and costly goods and utilities. The poor people are attracted to use all costly items which is not at times within their reach. Fine. Let us wind up today's class. Read the Reader daily. Learn all question answers given for the classwork and homework. Today's home assignment. Classwork. Learn and write question numbers 8, 9, 12 and 13 in your guide. Write it in the classwork. And homework. Question number 1. Why are the shoppers thrilled now? Question number 2. What is no longer a rarity today? Grammar part. Do page number 68, 4th main, B 1 to 5. Do the homework and the classwork and post it to me without fail. Thank you.